how do you get your ex back if your ex is dating someone else? Hi, this is Ashley from ashleykay.com, where I reveal the raw, naked truth on relationship success. So in this video, I want to share with you some tips, 4 tips on how to get your ex back if they're dating someone else. And this is especially true if your ex started dating someone else very quickly after your breakup. So tip number 1 is you do not want to appear affected by your ex and their new boyfriend or girlfriend. A lot of times, it's very common, your ex will probably jump to another relationship or flirt with another guy or a girl directly after your breakup, and you're probably going to assume that means they've moved on really quickly. When a lot of times, when your ex have moved on to another relationship really quickly, that relationship is probably just a rebound relationship, and 90% of them do not work out. And that's because what your ex is essentially doing is trying to replace you very quickly with someone else, and that's just really their way of coping with the breakup and trying to heal and move forward. A lot of people, especially if they're not that strong emotionally or that independent, will want someone else to give them attention, to feed them attention, for them to transition from one relationship to out of the relationship or into another relationship. That transition from relationship to nothing is pretty hard for a lot of people to deal with. That's why it's so common to see exes jump into another relationship super quick, because what they're really doing is just is really using another person as a tool to heal, to move on, to make themselves feel better, and that's just their way of doing it. So I would not take that too personally, because a lot of times it has nothing to do with you and your relationship with your ex. It's just this is your ex's way of dealing with the breakup. So what you don't want to do is appear affected. If you were to appear affected, if you were to get super jealous, calling them, abusing them, and acting angry and all that kind of stuff, that is what's going to push your ex further away and push your ex into that other person even more, okay? So that's why don't act too affected, act happy for your ex. And if you really love your ex, you should be happy for them. If they are showing they're genuinely happy, be happy for them. You want them to be happy and encourage their new relationship. Tip number 2, don't act as their relationship therapist or try to help them or meddle with their relationship in any way. I'm saying this tip because it does happen sometimes. If your ex is undecided, if they still love you but they're dating someone else, then that means they're probably still talking to you, still sharing their feelings with you, and sometimes you will hear more about the new relationship than you should. And you want to be very clear about setting boundaries between your ex and their new relationship and your relationship with your ex. Okay, you need to make sure they're very two different things, and you don't want to get all meddled up and tangled up in their dramas, because that has nothing to do with you. That's just your ex once again trying to heal or sort through their emotions using the new person and using you, maybe. I mean, who knows? So it's important that you don't fall into that game of trying to, compete with the new guy or the new girl for your ex. Definitely do not compete. You have to be confident in your unique connection with your ex. Be confident in that, and focus on your game, your connection, rather than wanting to compete with this other person. Okay, do not compete. You're playing a losing game if you try to do that. Tip number 3 is more a tip for women, because I think more women know of crazy ex-girlfriends, just because women tend to be much more outwardly, I guess, confrontational sometimes or crazy when it comes to relationships and their feelings. So first of all, you don't want to be that crazy ex-girlfriend who's trying to obviously break up your guy's new relationship. That is big no-no. I am for women looking after each other, not fighting against each other for a guy, okay? So you have to respect their relationship. So if they're pretty serious, leave them alone, okay? Do not meddle, get into their dramas, leave them alone, because if your connection with the guy is strong enough, he will give you the signs himself, and that's what you want. You don't want to be the ones constantly texting his phone, blowing up his phone, calling him, because women are really good at detecting what you're trying to do, and she's going to definitely put pressure on him to cut you off completely, and he's going to follow. I would be very careful about pushing any interactions with him, and just, like I said, be cool. Just focus on your connection on a friendship level. Don't say anything sexual, don't go anywhere sexual with him. Focus on the friendship, and if there is something there, he still feels something for you, he will naturally show you that signal, and ideally you should meet in person to talk. Don't blow up his phone. And my last tip really is to watch my video on 11 tips to make your ex fall in love. Watch that video because a lot of those tips apply in this current situation. The reason I say that is because, once again, your relationship with your ex is unique to you. You should not care too much about what your ex is doing with this new person, because that new person has nothing to do with you. They're not your competition. If you try to meddle with it, you will just make things worse. You will push your ex further into that other person's arms. So just let their relationship play out, because it will either work or it won't. And like I said, 90% of rebound relationships won't work. Okay, I hope you've liked this video. Please like, share, and subscribe to my channel, and I'll be back with another video soon.